Whoa. The Indiana Fever at number 5. That feels like a shot to the heart.
So the WNBA media it's embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. There's no way the Fever did not get better than one team that were better than last year.
They've done it again. That's what fans everywhere are saying after the WNBA took yet another clear swipe at Caitlin Clark.
Indiana Fever made with Caitlin Clark's presence on the court is undeniable.
Yeah, I thought it was electric. It's what you've seen, whether it's from the outside on television or being here broadcasting, but to actually feel the energy.
Caitlin Clark isn't just any rookie. She's the biggest star in women's basketball today. She's filling arenas, smashing TV ratings, and attracting millions of new fans to the league. But despite all that, the WNBA keeps treating her like she's the issue.
So you're basically saying the Fever are going to be in the exact same position as they were last year.
Just moments ago, we saw yet another move that felt like a clear sign of disrespect toward Caitlin Clark. Whether it's driven by jealousy, politics, or just plain negativity, one thing is obvious. There are people who don't want to see her succeed. Let's take a closer look at what happened, why the league keeps targeting her, and what this says about where the WNBA's priorities really are right now.
Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark have done and said the same things. They're both really good people and they both want to promote the game. But they are promoting Paige Beckers for saying exactly what Caitlin Clark has said plenty of times.
Let's start with the latest news. The WNBA just released its preseason power rankings, and honestly, the disrespect toward Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever is getting out of hand. They've got the Fever sitting at 5th. Really.
I think that the Fever have so much going for them that it's going to be hard to say you only improved this much. Not buying.
They ranked the Fever behind teams that clearly took a step back. If you followed last season, kept an eye on the off-season moves, and saw the coaching changes, you'd know this ranking isn't about basketball. It feels more like they're trying to send a message, and it's not a positive one. Here's the bottom line.
I feel like one of the biggest things in that area was just getting to know and getting to play with Caitlin. I think Caitlin plays such a fast-paced game, and for me, I feel like the year before that, it wasn't as fast, and then coming in kind of having that same expectation of the way that we played the year before, and then coming in and Caitlin loves to play really fast, so I think that was definitely the adjustment. But, I think knowing that and having that mindset just helped in the offseason because I know exactly where I need to be.
When it suits them, Aaliyah Boston, the South Carolina fans don't even treat Aaliyah Boston like she's a alum just because she happens to play for the Indiana Fever and doesn't call out the fan base all the time.
Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are one of the most exciting young duos in the WNBA right now. The Fever added seasoned vets with championship backgrounds, upgraded their coaching staff, and made real improvements across the roster. This team is clearly stronger than it was at the end of last season, and that squad was already on the rise.
The Fever at 5, though. How are the Storm over the Fever?
The Indiana Fever at number 5. That feels like a shot to the heart. The Fever can finish anywhere, 5 on the low side. I think this team offensively is going to be dynamic and spectacular. I've got them at the number 2 seed, just blindly eyes closed, if the schedule doesn't break their way.
So how does it make any sense to rank them 5th? Especially behind a team like the Seattle Storm. That team lost important players, dealt with injuries, and completely unraveled at the end of last season. Where's the logic in that?
We just saw somebody basically say that they were scared to go to Iowa. And are these people not embarrassed saying that? Is Aja Wilson has said it as well about Indiana. Is Aja Wilson not embarrassed? Because the vast majority of fans that go to Caitlin Clark games.
Putting the Aces near the top. No problem. Keeping the Liberty and Lynx up there. Fair enough, they've earned it. But ranking the Storm ahead of the Fever. That's not solid basketball analysis. That's bias. That's pushing an agenda. Plain and simple.
Something that I think is absolutely disgusting. And again, this isn't exactly WNBA media. However, it is the side when they're like, it's the activist league people that in fact are doing the opposite. All these networks, all these publications, all these things in media, you got to be smart.
It feels like the league, along with some media outlets, is purposely downplaying Caitlin Clark's impact acting like she hasn't already changed the game for women's basketball. Whether it's ticket sales, jersey sales, media buzz, or TV ratings, the numbers show it. She's the one fans are tuning in for. Instead of embracing that and building on the momentum, the WNBA seems more focused on controlling the narrative. And that narrative isn't about giving Caitlin Clark or the Fever the respect they deserve.
Yeah, I thought it was electric. It's what you've seen, whether it's from the outside on television or being here broadcasting, but to actually feel the energy.
Oh, shocked me. I mean, I didn't know what the percentage breakdown of Fever gear and Iowa gear would be, but it felt pretty equal. But I just didn't know what to expect, so that was fun to see.
Now let's talk about the media, because what's happening there might actually be worse. We just saw it again. As soon as Caitlin Clark's MVP odds shot to the top, some media voices were all too eager to jump in. One reporter, who covers NCAA basketball, went from criticizing how A.G. Wilson wasn't a unanimous MVP to suddenly calling it disrespectful that Caitlin Clark was even in the same conversation for MVP.
The main thing is the sport of basketball and growing the sport of basketball. That has to be a prerequisite for future hires, because I'm never going to say someone should be fired. I know other people are going to go out and say that, but I don't feel comfortable going out on the internet saying that. All I'm going to say is there's going to be so many people losing their jobs.
Wait, what? So it's disrespectful to even acknowledge Clark as a contender, but not disrespectful to completely ignore her. These people are showing their bias loud and clear, and fans are definitely noticing. This isn't just about MVP odds. It's about the double standard that keeps popping up over and over.
Honestly, I was really excited to just get out there and play, and especially getting to do it for the first time this season in front of these fans was really cool for myself. And just seeing the amount of people, young girls and young boys that stand there and scream for me to sign their stuff, I don't take that for granted. That's so cool. I would be lying to you if I thought that was just normal and everybody gets to do that. They don't. So I'm glad I can be a role model for them, and they have a great impact on me.
When Paige Bueckers speaks out about uplifting black women in basketball, the media celebrates it, and rightfully so. But when Caitlin Clark says the exact same thing, she gets ignored, or even worse, twisted into some kind of villain. Why? Because there's a clear effort to make her the target, to paint her as the outsider who doesn't belong. That's where it becomes dangerous. Caitlin Clark has done nothing but elevate the game, support her teammates, respect her opponents, and bring more attention to the WNBA than anyone in years. But the moment she becomes the face of women's basketball, the hate starts pouring in. People with platforms, people who claim to love the game, start treating her like a threat instead of an asset.
However, instead of the actual media promoting those players, they're going to promote Paige, saying they should promote the players more.
Stirring drama.
Why?
And gatekeeping a sport that
if Paige
desperately
Bueckers
needs
can
more
be
fans,
seen as
more exposure,
the
and
savior,
more support.
then
Caitlin Clark brings all of that to the table. Yet instead of welcoming it, they treat her like the enemy. But it's not just the media. What's even worse, and honestly more disappointing, is the silence coming from within the league itself. Let's take a step back and think about that for a moment.
Something that I think is absolutely disgusting. And again, this isn't exactly WNBA media. However, it is the side when they're it's the activist league people that in fact are doing the opposite. All these networks, all these publications, all these things in media, you got to be smart.
Remember when Antonio Brown posted those disgusting, leaked images of Caitlin Clark? Something that should have been condemned by everyone. Every major figure in the WNBA and women's sports should have spoken out in her support. But what happened? Silence. And it gets even more hypocritical when you realize that some of these same people who stayed quiet are the ones who claim to champion women's athletes and stand for respect.
Obviously, he's working with college sports and right now has since privated their Twitter and made sure nobody knows where they work. Because I think so many people in women's basketball media are going to lose their jobs because they have Twitter fingers.
People like Dawn Staley are still following Antonio Brown. Fans called her out about it, and what did she do? She blocked them. She didn't unfollow him, she didn't speak out, She just shut it down and moved on.
I mean, he was arrested for a pretty bad... I don't know anything more about that, but there was the whole news thing about the guy getting arrested for a pretty bad crime. And Dawn Staley does not care. And anyone who mentions the Dawn Staley gets blocked.
How can you call yourself a leader in women's basketball? Someone who's supposed to uplift and protect young women in the sport. And stay silent on something like that. Then in the same breath, you have people in the media and around the league ready to attack Caitlin Clark for something as small as being linked to someone they don't like. There's no grace, no giving her the benefit of the doubt, just instant outrage. It's a double standard. When it's someone they like, there's silence or they spin the narrative. When it's Caitlin Clark, they go to war. Here's the bottom line. Caitlin hasn't done anything wrong. She's not out here stirring up drama or trash-talking the league. She's playing the game, respecting her teammates, showing up for her fans, and performing under huge pressure, all while being the face of a growing movement. So where's the league's support? Where's the leadership? Where are the players stepping up to say, we may have our rivalries, but we've got her back? When it comes to basic respect, the silence is deafening.
You can see with your eyes that what they're saying is wrong, but they're going to continue to push it. They're going to continue to push it. They're going to continue to push to try make this 23-year-old woman now.
Caitlin Clark deserves better. Not just because she's a star, not just because she's breaking records, but because she's doing everything right for the game of basketball.
They're going to promote Paige Beckers, as some say. Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark have done and said the same things. They're both really good people and they both want to promote the game. But they are promoting Paige Beckers for saying exactly what Caitlin Clark has said plenty of times.
She's showing up, elevating the sport, and inspiring a whole new generation of fans.